Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you this morning. By the way, Ripple writes a letter to the judge supporting John Deaton and all of the XRP holders. And with that, let's roll this beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here. Okay, so we're looking at 1.7 plus trillion for the cryptocurrency market cap, over 8,967 coins currently in the market. I can guarantee you one thing on this today: there are not 8,967 use cases. There you go. Bitcoin coming in at 56,000, almost even this morning, and coming down to the number 7 spot, courtesy of the dereliction of duty. XRP is at 54 cents in the number 7 spot. We are off by 0.06% on the 24-hour. We are up 8.65% on the 7-day. Looking at the range right now, because it's important, we see we're ranging between 53 and 56 cents. And that is important because we got that 56, 57 cent has been cited as a test, as a resistance level. So if we can breach that and stay above the 56, 57, we can really start having that talk that everybody's talking about as 80 cents, dollar, and then on to eventually, the $10 to $20 range people have been talking about, which we are all excited to see happen at some point, sooner rather than later, I know. But let's go ahead and get into the news this morning, because we're going to get into this pretty deep this morning. It's good. First, we're going to start with Mark Cuban on NFTs, which I think is amazing. Guys, I've been telling you about Unstoppable Domains, the March Madness. There's really great domains that are available for the first time ever. Just go there and click on the link right under their search box. It says NFT giveaway. No, not giveaway, but you can click on the NFTs and see all the ones that are available for the first time. There's some really great ones there. But he says, listen to this, because this is important to note. We want to be able to find ways so that not only can our consumers, our fans, buy tickets and resell them, but we continue to make a royalty on them. Here's where one of the cool elements of the NFTs exists here. It really gets highlighted by Mark, because the reality is when you set up NFTs, you can set up that I want to sell just one, or I could make 100 of them, or 1,000 or 10,000 NFTs to give away. But the important thing to note that he's talking and touching on here, which tells me this is a huge sign that they're absolutely going to be doing this in a very big way. You can set a percentage that every time your NFT that you created is resold, that you get a commission on that. You could set it at 1%, 2%, 5%, or whatever. So every time a fan sells to another fan, Mark Cuban and the Mavericks would get a percentage of that sale each and every time. And because this is on the blockchain, we don't have to worry about it. When it gets bought, it's divvied up right then, and there it goes. Mark Cuban is seeing another source of revenue for the team and itself, and smart on him. And that is I tell you, NFTs in a nutshell. And by the way, if you haven't done it, go to CFTT TV and check out Arthur Twig's video on NFTs. It's like a 101 understanding of how to sell them, how to hold them, and all of that. And it'll really get you straight on that if you're not familiar with them. But they're like collectibles. It's like intellectual property that's stored on the blockchain, and it has authenticity and certification that comes with it. So to me, it's bringing a keystone of value back to the Internet of Information as the Internet of Value. Very, very important going forward, I think. Okay, looking at this, let's get into this. Okay, Ripple sent a letter to the judge on behalf of the XRP holders. It is epic. Well, I read it, and it is epic. And I'm not going to read the whole 5 pages to you, because it'll be about an 85-minute video. I'm not going to do that. But what I will tell you is that I did read it, and it is very, very strong in support. And obviously, it helps them to have John Deaton and the 10,500 plus XRP holders case brought into this case. Now, there are some things we need to look at about it, but Obviously, it's in Ripple's best interest that this case, because it is in XRP holders' best case that this case is brought in to intervene. Because the SEC has been caught talking out both sides of its mouth. And that we can lay at John Deaton's doorstep, because had John Deaton not brought up this case and taken his class action as far as he has at this point, we would not have the SEC in that particular situation. I think it's only right that the SEC have to explain how they can tell one party and their lawsuit that they don't know what XRP is, and then still be suing Ripple for the fact that they claim that they do know what XRP is and they think it's an unregistered security. So, the SEC is a mess in this. And by the way, it looks like April 12th for Gary Gensler's confirmation. I can only hope between now and then maybe Gary can have some kind of impact to the SEC and the judge for how they want to defend this case or dismiss it. Because I think it'd be a great idea to just drop the case because it's such a mess. But I digress. Nevertheless, do remember that while we go through this information, that in the prayer for relief on Ripple's side, they did ask Judge Annalisa Torres to go further than whether it's unregistered security or not, and absolutely legally define XRP as a currency in their prayer for relief. That would be phenomenal. Okay, so let's move on here, because they did write a great letter in support of John Deaton to hear his case to the judge. So that was really good. And then there's this here from XRP Rich. It says, SEC says XRP investors could trigger avalanche of claims and confusion. And this is their rebuttal to John Deaton and the 10,500 plus XRP holders that want to intervene in this case. The SEC is saying, this will just cause all kinds of confusion and problem. I'm going to read this short piece to you, and it basically says, if the court permitted movants to intervene, that it would be a logic bound to allow all investors and interested members of the public with different viewpoints to intervene in underlying actions, creating an avalanche of claims and near certainty of undue delay, complexity, and confusion. Now, that's pretty much it. It says lawyer John Deaton earlier filed a motion to intervene on behalf of 10,000 plus other XRP holders in the SEC proceeding against San Francisco-based blockchain firm in which regulatory agency accuses Ripple of unlawfully selling securities in the form of XRP. You guys know the drill. Okay, here's what I find interesting. The SEC actually pitches this argument that we're the problem. An avalanche of confusion and certainty of undue delays and complexity of confusion. But it's our fault? Oh, brother. Yeah, no, it's not our fault, SEC. It's your fault. Because you are talking out both sides of your mouth. And now here we are 7-8 years later, and all of a sudden you found all this clarity you couldn't find for 7 or 8 years. What a laughable stock the SEC has come. I tell you, if there's nothing else, I could tell you this. Gary Gensler's watching all this, and this is a smart man, and you may not like some of the things he does or doesn't do in this space, but I can tell you this, he would have never brought a case up that was this crappy, I can tell you that. Ripple Labs may have scored a win, but that doesn't make it any safer. This here talks about the issues that all the upside that Ripple's had so far, that there's still an enormous hurdle in front of them. There was a part in here I want to get, don't get too excited. Let me read through this. If you're a significant holder of XRP, you obviously take whatever victories you can get, and this is a big one. But the dark cloud is that I'm sure if it's enough to get XRP out of its jam, and what they're referencing here is what the judge was saying in the last hearing. Remember, we have another hearing April 6th at 2 p.m. I will be checking that one out as well. But the last hearing we had, the judge actually acknowledged that XRP was currency-like and it had utility. And I certainly know that the SEC did not like hearing that from her. But that isn't going to stop them from fighting the case, knowing now where she stands in her thought process. However, it says here that primarily The SEC will continue to hammer the centralization argument. Honestly, it doesn't look good that the protocol appears centralized. This was long a criticism of Ripple Coin, where here's why it's important. If Ripple distributed XRP to the sole purpose of raising capital for its businesses and giving the impression to the investors could potentially profit from a valuation rise, how is that different from a publicly traded security? It's a great question, and I'll just break it down like this. Ripple obviously pitched to the entities that can bring value to the network by bringing their daily volume of payment flows to the XRP ledger and eventually settling with the XRP token, right? That's the drill. So what they're essentially saying here is that, if you were pitching to them that if you bring your volume of payments to the network and settle with XRP and you take 10 million of these things at 20 cents, by the volume of your company and other companies around the world and banks and central banks and this, that, and the other will drive the value of the token up. How is that any different from a publicly traded security? Well, that's a great question, but the reality is it's different in the fact that it's currency. It's settling between two fiat currencies that may be digital tokens, right, or digital dollars, right? You could tokenize oil and go from oil through XRP and out to gold to someone if that's tokenized, which they have tokenized that in some companies already. So I think what it really comes down to for me is it's how you want to see it. And the truth is, we've gone over whether XRP would get a security designation, that they could certainly allow the functionality to exist in the asset and use it. Because Gary Gensler made an important point that we covered late last week, which was that he had said back in 2018 that he believed that the SEC could take advantage of writing new rules to accommodate the utility of digital assets, right? Where you needed to, but he still believes that you could fit the majority of those things, XRP included, by the way, inside a digital securities framework. That's how he sees it. Now, this is why I'm really so interested to see Gary Gensler actually get in, because at the end of the day, I believe whatever they call this asset, I don't believe that they're going to shoot the golden goose. If they decide to call it a security, I believe it's really for the ease and comfort of tucking it in the security asset infrastructure that already exists in the financial world today. All the regulation, all the distribution, it's all right there, whether it's through the dealer brokers and then all the regulation on the back end. It'd be very easy to do. As long as they write something in that allows the utility of the asset to function the way it needs to, and it doesn't harm the use of the asset so it can gain in value and be used at full scale for its true intended use, what do I care? They could call it a Frisbee. I don't care what they call it. But at the end of the day, if they're going to call it something like that, does it change? If it doesn't change the full scale intended use of the asset, does it change the fact of how you and I can continue to buy, sell, or hold it? There, I think, is the larger question. So what I do hope for is that they call it a convertible virtual currency and it falls under a currency and it doesn't challenge the legal tender status of the government's money around the world, whether it's the U.S. or Japan or somewhere else. And all the governments can feel good about using it, get the benefits of using it, understand that whatever tax structure is not in place, that it gives them the freedom to use it, and they will take off using it. And I'm not getting rid of my XRP until I see that moment happen. That's not financial advice. That's just what I'm doing. And I've been stacking my pennies next to their dollars, and that's what I'm going to keep on doing until this is over. In fact, we look here, this is a reminder from last year of Ripple Swell North America, where we saw a representative from the Bank of Canada working and considering Ripple, which we know that they're working with Ripple because we saw the Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, do a demonstration back in 2017 of using Ripple software and XRP between them and a bank in Germany, I believe it was. Listen to this clip right here.
And in fact, the Bank of Canada is working on projects to build the capability for that central bank digital currency. So although they're not going to issue that currency as yet, when the need arises to issue it, they want to be ready. So we're working closely with them on that specifically. And we're looking at providers like Ripple and how you offer it versus the different providers, and really just to get best practices and what's going to work for Canada, what's going to work, from a global perspective, interoperable perspective. So it's something that underpins, I would say it's an undercurrent to our current, more active modernization projects.
There you go. And look, we've seen plenty of evidence of this too. This is what it's really all about here. Ripple pilots a private ledger for central banks, launching the entire system of central bank digital currencies on. Anything else? Right? Anything else? For me, it's like, the case is a formality. It is a big formality. But again, I don't believe they're going to shoot the golden goose. The liquidity crisis that we're going to see happen next is in the value of currencies, the debasement of currencies, right? As the IMF said it last summer, an external adjustment to the FX peg, to the foreign exchange rate peg of dominant currencies like the US dollar. Yeah. To me, that is the biggest sign and signal that they're saying that there will be a shift from the global reserve currency, which is the US dollar, because there's going to be a huge debasement. And if we see a huge debasement take place at some point, then it would make sense to me that that would be the perfect time to switch over to a bridge currency to deal with that debasement of not only the US dollar, but all other currencies that have that same dominant effect. So that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Shout out to John Deaton, the thorn in the side that the SEC couldn't even see coming. But I tell you what, I appreciate John Deaton and everything he's done and will continue to do. And I am going to reach out to John and see if we can't get him to stop by on the show for a minute or two. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Make sure you check out Clinton Donnelly. It's tax time, ladies and gentlemen. If you have trouble with your crypto taxes and you are not sure how to handle them, Clinton Donnelly is the crypto tax fixer. He is amazing. He's helped people save so much money and get them out of any kind of issues you may have. So make sure you check him out as well. And I'll catch all of you on the next one.